Hey everyone, in today's video I am going to swatch out this 12 tubes of Jackson's watercolor paint that I have bought recently during their sale. Jackson's Art watercolor paint is available in 10 and 21 ml tubes as well as half and full pans. They are available in sets as well as individually. Jackson's has a total of 48 colors, which is not as many compared to other brands, but it's still a good selection. The main selling point for me for this brand is the pricing, which is quite attractive. So let's take a look at Phthalo Blue. For the 21 ml tube, it's 5.7 sterling pounds or UK pounds. The 10 ml is selling for 4.3, so you can just pay a bit more and get double the amount of paint, which is really attractive. For the more expensive paint, such as Cobalt Blue, the 21 ml tube is 8.9 pounds, which is still quite reasonable. I read online that these are actually made by Sennelier, the company from France that makes watercolor. So for one of the tubes, I noticed this print behind the label. Usually the print is well hidden, but this one extends slightly out, so I was curious enough to tear away the label, and this is what I get. And I did a search online to find some Sennelier tubes, and you can see the design on the Jackson's tube is the same as the one on the Sennelier tube. So these are most definitely made by Sennelier. The first color that I'm going to paint is lemon yellow. This is PY3, which is a very common pigment used to make lemon yellow. Daniel Smith's version of lemon yellow is PY175, by the way. So this color looks kind of intense. By the way, the binder that's used in this paint is gum arabic. Next we have Jackson's Yellow Light. On the tube here, it labels the pigment as PY154, but when I check Sennelier's website, Sennelier's Yellow Light is actually PY153, and on Jackson's website they also list this as PY153, so the label on the tube is actually, it may not be accurate. PY153 is Nickel Dioxin Yellow, and this color looks semi-transparent. It's very intense as well, looks like a very nice meat yellow. And this is Jackson's Quinacridone Gold, a mix of 3 pigments, PY119, PY42, and PY83. Now on Sennelier's website, this combination of pigment, they call it gold ochre, just to confuse people. Sennelier has another Quinacridone Gold that is a mix of other pigments, not this, so they swapped the names maybe to confuse people. But this version of Quinacridone Gold looks kind of nice. Next we have Ultramarine Deep. Jackson's has 2 Ultramarine Deep and Ultramarine Light. Sennelier has 3. They also have French Ultramarine. Now Jackson's paint is very fluid, as in the paint is very soft. Ultramarine is the classic PB29, and next we have Cerulean Blue. Now this is one issue that I have with Jackson's paint. I noticed a few colors have this problem with the pigment separating from the gum arabic, and it seems like Jackson's, they use a lot of gum arabic in their tubes. So this is very fluid, and the pigment concentration is not as high compared to other brands because they have a lot of gum arabic, and because of that, even though you have a 21 ml tube, the amount of pigment that you get in the tube is not going to be as concentrated compared to other brands. So sometimes I have to squeeze out the gum arabic before I can actually get to the pigment. That's 5 drops, 6, 7, 8. Alright, I think that's the last drop of gum arabic. Be careful when dealing with gum arabic because it's very sticky. So mine has some gum arabic flowing out onto the side of the tube, and it's very difficult to clean off completely, so I have used a sticker to stick over the label. So now it's alright, it's not sticky anymore. And after you have squeezed out a good portion of gum arabic, the paint tube looks like this. It becomes much thinner. I'm not sure if I can say that the quality is bad because of that, because the colors, they are still very vibrant. The only downside to using too much gum arabic is, well, you're going to be using the paint up very quickly. This is Cerulean Blue PB35. I love this color because of the granulation, the beautiful granulation. Let's hope Phthalo Blue don't have the problem. It doesn't, and this is very intense Phthalo Blue PB15. The paper that I'm using, by the way, it's Indigo Art Papers, 100% cotton watercolor paper. That's handmade. And now let's take a look at Jackson's Pyro Red. This is a nice warm red. It looks very intense here. So this particular tube, it seems like it doesn't have the binder separation issue. And this is Permanent Alizarin Crimson PR206. Jackson's has the non-permanent version as well, so be careful. And this is Carmine PV19. This is very intense as well. So it looks like some of the tubes, they are packed with a lot of pigments, but some not that much. The other tube that doesn't have a lot of pigment is neutral thin. The other tube that doesn't have a lot of pigment is actually neutral tint. So Carmine is PV19 and Permanent Magenta is also PV19. And you see here, I have the pigment separation problem again. Let's do this one more time and see how many drops we can get out this time. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's quite a lot. 8 drops of gum arabic that could have been pigment. And if you want to squeeze out the paint to use in pans, the paint is going to shrink by quite a bit. It's going to shrink significantly over a day, and the next day you have to squeeze more paint into the pan again, and it's going to shrink again quite significantly, and you have to repeat it a few times to top up the pan because the shrinkage is really quite significant. And this is Burnt Sienna Pb R7. This is a nice variation of Burnt Sienna, a nice version, a transparent earth color that I use a lot, use very often. And lastly, we have Permanent Sap Green. This is a very intense color as well, very concentrated. I went ahead to Senneliers website to take a look at their pigment code, and they use PB29 and PY153. So here with Jackson's, the label is being labeled wrongly again. PY154 is actually Azo Yellow, which I think is a more expensive color. So later I have to correct what I've written here. The swatches have dried nicely and they dry a bit lighter, especially for Ultramarine Deep and Cerulean Blue. So if you want to have concentrated versions of these two colors, you will need to use a lot more paint. The colors look vibrant, they look lovely. They are what I would expect given the pigment used, except for Permanent Alizarin Crimson, which looks a bit unusual, a bit different from other brands. On the left, we have Permanent Alizarin Crimson from Daniel Smith, which is this very intense red that's made of 3 pigments here. And this is the Jackson's version, which is a bit more neutralized, more like a maroon or brown, more reddish brown. And this is Winsor & Newton's version, which is also PR206, but you can see the color here, it's more reddish. Winsor & Newton has a very nice version of permanent Alizarin crimson, PR206. Some of the colors that are listed on the tube as transparent are not that transparent. For example, permanent sap green, this is more like semi-transparent. But Sienna looks transparent enough. Pearl magenta looks transparent enough as well. Pyro red is not that transparent, and PY153 is not that transparent. I've only tested 12 colors, and some of the colors, they are definitely worth buying. The ones to avoid would be Ultramarine Deep, Cerulean Blue, and Permanent Magenta, because there is just too much binder in them. For the rest of the colors, they are still pretty concentrated. At least they use a lot more pigment compared to these 3 colors. The colors that I like, Jackson's Yellow Light. This is a very nice mid intense yellow. Pyro Red, this is a good version of Pyro Red. It's very intense as well. Carmine looks very nice. Burnt Sienna is not bad. I would consider this. Phthalo Blue, it's good. Quinacridone Gold, I would say it's kind of good as well, although it dries a bit lighter than I want. Sap Green, very nice too. Because of the attractive pricing, I can definitely recommend them for beginners. Just get like 6 big tubes of watercolor and they can last you quite a while. Alright, let me know in the comment section below if you are using Jackson's Art watercolor paint, and let me know what you think about them. By the way, I am selling off some of my excess watercolor paint to make space to get more colors to test and also to create more videos like this. So if you're interested to buy some of my excess paint, check out the list of colors that I'm selling in the video description below. Alright, thanks for watching today's video. See you in the next one. Bye!